Hello and welcome back to Megajordinary. So, backdrop is a little bit different to the last couple of times, but yeah, we had to change the backdrop up today. But anyway, you're just gonna get me today and the white wall. But it'll be fine. So today's video is about an ongoing true crime case that happened in December 2020. I feel it's really important to speak about this case because it's ongoing and you never know who could stumble across this video or who may have vital information. Let's jump right into it. So today's case is the disappearance of 3-year-old Orson and 4-year-old Orrin West. Orson and Orrin West were the adopted children of Trezell and Jacqueline West. Now, the West family had been fostering Orson and Orrin West since 2018, and then they officially adopted the boys sometime in 2019. Jacqueline and Trezell actually had 4 other children, as well as Orson and Orrin. They had 2 biological kids, and then they had 2 more adopted children. So they had 6 kids in total. Orson and Orrin were originally born in Bakersfield, California, and they then moved to California City with the West family. But they did live in Bakersfield for a period of time with the West family until they relocated to California City. Their biological mother's name was Ryan Dean, and she actually named Orson and Orrin completely different names when they were born. Their birth names are actually Sincere with a C and Classic Pettis. Pettis being their biological last name. So the boys' names were Sincere and Classic, not Orson and Orrin. So the adopted parents, Jacqueline and Trezell, actually renamed the boys when they obtained custody of them. Which is weird. Like, I find that weird because these were 2 boys that had already had birth names. They weren't adopted from birth. They were adopted from... Yeah, it's... I find that really strange. But anyway, so how Orson and Orrin came to be adopted by the West family is... Child Protective Services were actually called. The boys were removed from Dean's custody, their birth mother, after she had brought one of the boys to the emergency room after she alleged that she had arrived home from work and one of the boys was hysterically crying, and she assumed that it was because he had obtained, like, he was in pain in some shape or form because it was a painful cry. And so when she brought him to the hospital, it was discovered that he had a broken femur. Ryan Dean says that she has no idea how this happened. Dean says the last time that she's seen her boys was the end of 2018 before Trezell and Jacqueline adopted them. So, let's talk about the day of the disappearance. The 21st of December 2020. Orson and Orrin vanished from outside their California City home. They were out playing in the garden with some chalk, and the West family said that their 4 other children were staying at their grandmother's house. And they kept Orson and Orrin home because they were the 2 youngest, so I don't know. But they let the boys play out in the garden with the chalk while Jacqueline was wrapping Christmas presents in the house because it was right before Christmas. Now, Trezell West said that before 4:30 p.m. that evening, he had went outside to collect firewood because he was going to make a fire. He said when he collected the firewood, he went back into the house for a short period of time, and then when he went back outside, the boys had vanished. And he said that he noticed that he left the gate open in the garden, and he obviously assumed that the boys had ran out and escaped. Trezell said once he noticed that the boys were gone, he panicked and he got into his car and drove around the neighbourhood looking for the boys and asking any of the neighbours had they seen Orson and Orrin. A neighbour's camera actually confirms this because it picked up Trezell getting into a white van at around 4:32 p.m. So the timestamp is around 4:30, 4:35 we'll say. This is all happening, you know. Trezell is out, he's looking for the boys are gone, it's manic. The police are contacted then at 6 p.m, so an hour and a half later. So the boys were reported missing, and then following this, a news report was released at 8 p.m, which gave a description of the boys and what they were wearing. However, it didn't actually give their names or show a photograph of them. I don't know why. It was hours after this initial news report and their description that their actual names and photographs were released. There's a lot of time between all these events. Like, Trezell realised that the boys were missing, and then he didn't call the police until 6 p.m. when he realised they were missing at around 4:30, 4:32 p.m. And then the news report wasn't released till 8 p.m. and it didn't have the boys' names or their pictures, it just described them. And then after that, hours later, their names were released and their pictures. It's just a bit, I don't understand it. Now, I know I used to live in America for a period of time, and I know that when a child goes missing in an area in different states, you get a red alert to your phone. So I don't know if that's what the initial news report was, if it was like a red alert, like, or, you know, a missing children's report that got sent to people in the area. I'm not quite sure, but yeah. So that night, a search party was formed, which consisted of police officers and neighbours that wanted to help find the boys. However, the West family did not participate in this search party. They said that it was just all too much for them and that the police had advised them to stay indoors. So a canine unit was sent into the West's home, which is normal protocol, normal procedure in a case like this. So when they went into the home, the boys' scents were detected within the home. However, their scents were not detected outside at all, which is very, very strange. The next day, on the 22nd of December 2020, the Wests were brought into police custody for questioning. And whilst the Wests were in custody, the police had actually obtained a search warrant to search their home in more depth. And they actually took bags of evidence from the house during this search for further investigation. And then the next day, on the 23rd of December 2020, the police searched the West's house again. And this was actually the first day that the Wests had spoken to the media about the boys' disappearance. And I'm going to add a clip in now.
Cold. I was going to make a fire. There's a lot of wood in this area right here next to our house. I open up the back gate. I'm throwing wood, bringing it inside the house. My wife's inside. She was actually wrapping gifts, so we thought it was a good idea that our youngest two would go outside and play with chalk on the back patio. Do not let them go on the dirt in the backyard. We keep them close. They was playing with chalk, and I came in the house. I saw them there. I went in the house. I came back out. I didn't see them there. I immediately went back in, asked my wife, did you see the boys? She said, no, they should be outside playing with chalk. I said, well, I didn't see them, so I came back outside and I started searching my backyard. I searched the whole thing. I realized that I left the gate open and I panicked, came inside the house, searched the house, me and my wife. Once that hadn't panned out, I got in the van. I looked down the street, both directions. It was getting dark, getting cold, and I got in the van and I hit a bunch of corners. I went down this street. I turned my light on. I searched. I called their names. Talked to a gentleman on the street on the other side over there. He didn't see me. But we couldn't go outside.
The cops told us the best are out here.
The best are out here searching. And we appreciate it. And nobody ever could tell, we could never talk to anybody. And that was the issue.
We just want to thank everybody.
We really want to thank you guys.
Please, if anybody has seen them, please call, let somebody know.
Call the cops. Call the city police department. Call them and let them know what you've seen, if you see anything. Our boys, they are going to be rambunctious, okay? They are going to be here in this area, and I really would like to go in the houses, but it's not because I want to invade people's privacy. I just want to know if make sure. That's it.
On the 29th of December, California City Police Officer John Walker addressed the public just on the case updates and just to let the media and the public know what was going on with the investigation. In this addressing of the public, he said that nothing was found in the West's home that was of any suspicion, but that they did think that foul play was involved in the boys' disappearance. So at this time, the 29th of December, the Wests had actually moved back to Bakersfield, and they said this was because they were getting death threats, they were getting harassed by the neighbours, and they said it was just better for them to move back to Bakersfield. Now, I feel like this is a good time to mention that when the neighbours were being interviewed by the police, all of them said that they had never seen Orson and Orrin with the Wests, ever. But that they had seen their 4 older children, but they never seen Orson and Orrin, which is very, very, very concerning. Now, they had moved here a couple of weeks, months prior. So in that time frame, none of the neighbours had seen Orson and Orrin, but yet they'd seen the 4 older children. Considering that the Wests exclaimed that they were missing from outside of the house. They were playing in the garden. Peculiar, really peculiar. So in January 2021, this year, the West family released a statement saying that they had hired a team of private investigators to search for the boys. A couple of local businesses had actually made GoFundMes and raised money to give as rewards for anyone that had any information on the boys and what might have happened to them, or just any information at all. And on the 1st of February, the FBI returned to the West's California home. They wanted to see if anything could be found underneath the grounds of the property, if they could detect anything, yeah. But nothing at all was found. And then on the 14th of February, Orson and Orrin's biological family had a billboard put up on Highway 99. And I'm going to add some footage in here of what they had to say.
They shouldn't be missing. Their faces shouldn't be on a billboard at all. They should be with their family.
Child Protective Services took the boys from the biological family in 2018 and placed them with the West family. They were living in California City when their adoptive father reported them missing on December 21st.
I hope that someone come through and tell us where they are, or at least guide us to where they are. What happened? We just need the answers.
The biological family started a GoFundMe to raise money for 3 billboards.
Not everybody's on social media, and not everybody watches the news, so, I mean, maybe somebody that's traveling could see it, and you might get a tip, you know, you never know who might know something.
Something very telling happened then on the 1st of March. This year, which is literally only a couple of weeks ago. The Bakersfield Police Department announced that they would be taking over the case, that they would be prioritising the case, that they would be leading the investigation. But that the FBI and the California City Police would still be working on the case in the background. This is interesting because it supports what the neighbours were saying, that they had never seen Orson and Orrin in California City with the Wests. Did the boys ever leave Bakersfield at all? Orson and Orrin's biological grandfather actually released a blog post, which I will add in here now. So from this statement, this blog post, it's very apparent that Orson and Orrin's biological family suspect foul play at the hands of the Wests. And on March 15th, 2021, a search warrant was issued for Orson and Orrin's adopted grandparents in Bakersfield. Nothing has been found in that search either. So right now, we're in the dark. There is no leads, no light on the situation, no sign of these 2 beautiful little boys. I do think it's absolutely absurd and red flag that none of the neighbours in California City had ever seen the boys, but yet they seen the West's 4 other children. I do think the body language I'm not a body language expert, you know, but I do feel like the body language from the Wests in their addressing the media is very peculiar. But then again, as I said, I'm not a body language expert. I don't know, you know, the ins and outs of it all, but your gut can tell you a lot of things. But then again, people handle trauma, people handle things in their own way. Like, not everyone is gonna, you know, show their emotions on camera. They're not going to show how they're feeling, and that's just how it is. But we can all make our own opinions, but at the end of the day, everybody is innocent until proven guilty, and we don't know where Orson and Orrin are. And I'm just hoping and praying that someday, very, very soon, we will find the boys and they will be found safe and sound. Pray. Like, this case is just so upsetting, and yeah, it's so scary. So I will be keeping everybody updated. If there's any new information on this case, I will be sure to collect all the information and keep you guys updated. Don't forget to like this video, comment down below if you have any information or you have any theories about what may have happened to Orson and Orrin. Subscribe to the channel and then hit the notification bell so you can be notified when we drop a new video on here. Yeah, follow us on our socials. They are linked in the bio. Bye.